Salon, incredible evening. I have to set this up over here, so give me a second. Oh, come on. All right. Let's get you all set up. And let's get this set up over here. I forgot to do my thumbnail, which means when I share this out, it's probably going to catch me in a really, really weird position, but that's okay. Oh God, I hope it doesn't catch me doing that, licking my lips. Jesus, I forgot to do a thumbnail. I was just trying to help and get it going so that I can get home for dinner. But I had to come back to the office. So I figured while I was here, I might as well do a live video. And I came across something and I was like, oh, yeah, let's definitely do a live video because I think it will be encouraging to each and every one of you guys because I don't think this was necessarily my first one, but it was one of the first ones. I think it may have been like the second or third or fourth one that I did, but it's in that range. So even with the first, I think the first one I did was my Uncle Kenny. But I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in its obituary. And then I want to show you, I don't have all of the ones I've done printed, but there are 3 here that I designed and print that I had copies of here that I want to show you guys. And just encourage you that I'm telling you, it gets better with time and practice. It definitely gets better. Okay. So let me just go over here and I need to change my audience real quick. Edit audience. Make sure you guys go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, share it out. And we're just going to hit live. I'm not even going to change the title on that one. And let me go over here and how I started versus where I am now. You will get there. Also, just keep learning and practicing. Okay. Control A, copy. Okay, give me a second. So the other thing I had to come back for, I knew there was one here. My mom wants me to make a game book for my cousin's baby shower this weekend, right? So I knew I had one here because I was trying to remember the games and so I can kind of plan it out, so I can do the design of it tomorrow so I can have them printed out and stuff like that. I'm probably not going to print in-house. I'm probably going to go ahead and take them to be printed on a laser printer because I think that's what this was printed on. This was definitely printed on a laser printer. So I'm going to probably do the same thing versus printing them here. Hold on one second. I have one more that I need to do. Un momento. Oh, wait, I didn't hit go live over here. Yes, I did. Where is my live video, people? I'm in my own group and still can't find my own live. Man, I tell you. Okay, there it is. Here we go. All right. All basically shared out, tagged, everything like that. All right. So hello, everyone. I am Shakia, the professor of HS Inc. 365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products, as well as 365 Creative Academy, where I help you to unlock your creativity in a wide variety of trainings. And for today, be a motivator. Okay. Sorry, my lips they look dry. I feel like Pookie from New Jack City. So we're gonna go ahead, throw a little lip gloss on there. All right. But if you guys don't know, I teach mainly Silhouette Studio. That's not always the program that I started in. Of course, it has been around. I started graphic designing in Photoshop and Illustrator. Then I learned Corel Draw, and eventually, came around to where I found Silhouette Studio, and it was more than just using it for the Cameo machines. Although I do things with that when I do print and cuts. That's what the main thing I got it from. I was going through my box and it was like stuff like this. So I don't think this was one of my first print and cuts. This was this was within the first year or so of me having it that I did this. So it was a custom onesie that I created. I want to say it probably was because I have some stitch lines that the machine ended up cutting. So having that rookie mistake. So this was probably within rookie phases, but I made this onesie. Actually, no, I know exactly when I did this. Dakota it wasn't Dakota. Who did I do this for? Who did I do the sports theme for? I would say Dakota, but her baby shower. But I'm trying to think, how old is she? So this might be, in the beginning. This is probably about 7 years old. This particular print, I did it for LJ. I think is who I did this for. But so I had these onesies, and it was all this whole sports theme. And I made each jersey look like this one was, of course, soccer. So I did a soccer jersey, a football jersey, a basketball jersey, and a baseball jersey, all as onesies. So this is kind of how I used to design for baby shower. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I created my decor that really matched what the theme was, right? So I was over there looking for some other stuff, came across this. This is one of my first print and cuts. So I've been designing in Silhouette Studio for my niece is 9 now. So for about 9, almost 10 years, because I started, she was done my sister's belly when I first got my first Cameo and started working on it. So 9.5, almost 10 years now, I've been using Silhouette Studio, and I mainly use that to teach people design, because I do find that it is easier to understand design concepts from Silhouette Studio versus going into some of the more robust and can seem overly complicated programs like Photoshop. If I can teach design techniques from that software, once you go to another software, it becomes a little bit easier, which some of those people who've taken Silhouette from me and then they took my Photoshop one, it's a little bit easier to understand it because I taught them design first. I didn't just teach the tools of Silhouette. I taught design concepts. Is the same. Kind of like what we're going to do on Thursday for the summer workshop, where I'm going to show that the technique and the concept is the same. Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, and Canva. It's going to be the same to change the color of the shirt. It's just that you now have to know, depending on which program you are using, what steps you have to take to make those color changing edits. So yeah, Silhouette is my program of choice. But as you can see, you can do a lot. This could have been a print and cut for a centerpiece. It could be a cupcake topper. It could have been something like on a balloon. It could have been a big cutout. It could have been stickers. You literally can make anything. And then I could take this and then add it to chip bags or water bottle labels or, whatever. I was just telling my student today, because she was asking about, I think she asked about making stickers or decals. And I said, hey, you already have it. Once you design the shirt, because you now have the design, it's just about how you resize it based off of whatever you're going to design with. But this was one of the first ones. But what I came here for was the baby shower booklet. Y'all see the date on that? That was 2014. Next, oh yeah, because she'll be 10. Cachet, no, because this is 2000. Yeah, because I think we did this baby shower and then she had her beginning of December. So wow, Cachet will be 10 next year. Oh my gosh, these kids are growing so fast. But this is in 2014 when I made this. And as you can see, I keep copies of stuff, 2014. How many of you have copies of your work that you can look back on and actually see what your progress is? If you don't, start making sure that you guys keep at least one copy for yourself, even if it's a t-shirt. If it's a t-shirt that you messed up, put it in a bag. Don't give that to Goodwill, because it is an amazing feeling to kind of look back and see how you used to design or how you made things before and just see your progress, because it will happen. What I really did the live for to show you guys, that one was made in 2008. One of my first obituaries was 2008, but I want to say actually I started in maybe like 2007, 2006. I think that's when my Uncle Kenny passed. But anywho, but this is a game shower booklet that I created, and it has like the welcome, it has the bingo. It's been a while since I've done this, and I couldn't remember what content I normally put in it. So I know there's one here, and I had to go look in my box that had all my stuff so that I can find this one. So then there is the like mother, like daughter, like daddy, like baby, which this is going to work great because I don't have to think about what I did for a boy because she's having a little girl. So it's this whole thing of people guessing who they think, like the eye shape, like mommy thinks that the baby's going to have her eye shape or daddy. So you're trying to guess what mommy and daddy, what their predictions are. So that's a game. What is a baby shower for? I think this was the one where they had to list items that begin with that letter. See, now I have to try and remember because it's been a long time since I did a baby shower booklet, and I got a couple different games that I use. And then what's on your phone? So we have that one. And then the word scramble. And then OMG, did that come out of a baby? Oh, this was so it's just so that all of the paper stuff is all in one. You don't have to keep passing out stuff. This was the one that we did when we put different chocolates inside of diapers. And so this was their place to write down what chocolate that was inside of the diaper. And then baby shower feud, which was kind of like a family feud style where we asked a question and we were looking for like the number one answer, or from my list, like if it was on there, whatever the points were, whether it's the number one or whatever, if they had the answer, I'll tell them what the point value was and they add it up. So yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't have the one for songs with baby in it. Yeah, so I used to have like a bunch of different games that I can choose from and mix and match in this. But this is from 2014. This is when we were still Elite Prints and Creations. I had a thing for Paisleys. So that was my little logo back then. But this is what I wanted to show you guys, right? Practice. Continue to practice. I think I did a video once before and I was like, how long did it take me to learn all this and get better at it? And I think I said something like, one of the things I learned like 5 years. And someone's like, I'm not trying to wait 5 years. You got to be patient. This was one of the first obituaries that I did. And I did this in Word. This was before Word lost their ever loving mind, because Word now, if you want to pull in pictures, it's like I think you have to put like picture, you have to add it to it, and then you have to warp it to. It's weird now, but this was back in the day before Word lost their ever loving mind. But this was, again, one of the first obituaries that I did. This was old school style, just 8.5 by 11. It's a booklet. I did not even use staples for this. This obituary was together so that it stayed like a booklet. It was literally a string, y'all. Do you see this? It was a string. Like, that's crazy. I didn't even staple it because back then I didn't have a big stapler, because they have like the really big one, like it's long so you can do the middle part. Or if you were printing them, if you have the big digital press or printer and like have the finishing unit, and it will staple it for you. Or you could always send it to Office Depot. This I printed in-house because I actually happen to like inkjet prints versus laser prints. When it comes to things being faded, inkjet just looks 1,000 times better. In my opinion. But yeah, so this was 2008 when I did this. And Then we have like a traditional obituary section, order of service, putting pictures. So Word had this thing where like cropping pictures into like different shapes and stuff. And actually, no, was this Word? I don't know if I remember. I did that. No, it wasn't Word. It was something else. It was something with Microsoft. But like when you were able to put frames and stuff like that. So this is how the picture page was back in the day. So there's like some stars on this one. This one's like kind of distressed. That's just a box, a heart. It's a frame around like, so there's all these different like frames and stuff on here. And then there is like a poem. And then As I Remember. And I actually miss adding this to obituaries because I just always feel like you want to write down what you remember about the person, because as the years go on and on and on, I wanted obituaries to kind of be like, you want to keep them to remember, I mean, that's like the last thing you have about this person. So I used to do this thing, and it's like, As I Remember, and it's like, what we remember about Shepard Dixon Jr. And for people to write that in the moment, so that if whenever they come across this, or like maybe they're telling their kids about who this person is, and it's like, you won't forget that. Because again, this was 2008. And then of course, the back part of it and all that kind of stuff or whatever. So this is one of the first ones. Now, obituaries are done a little bit different. So here is now, 2002. I mean, 2022, where it's like a full, like this was 8.5 by 11 folded in half. Oh, come on. So it's like one sheet of this, where now they are a full on booklet size and totally different look. You'll get there. And then now, like, look at how the pictures are set up in this compared to, and then like we have this one with poems, where we have pictures galore, and then the back page. Then there is the one for my grandma. So this was kind of one of those moments, kind of like the As I Remember, because at the bottom of my grandmother's obituary, it says, left to cherish their memories are a host of friends, family, blah, 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 blah. And actually, I think it's on Tanya's own as well. And I I think hers just says, and loved ones. And then, so mine says, and you, for you to write your name in there. I don't know. I've always been that way about them. And I just haven't done that one where you can write in it about the person. But like that one, me putting our family tree, all these pictures. And then we have that. And then another page full of pictures. And then the back. This one was more of a trifold. So this one didn't necessarily have an order of service. It's more of like a tribute type one. But even with the trifold, right? But it's just the design style changed over time. And that's the part that that just stands out to me from one of my first ones to, I would say, this isn't the most recent one. Estelle's own, my other grandmother, might be the most recent one, but I don't think I have that one. I don't have a copy of that one near me, but big difference. Big difference. Say all that to say, all you have to do is just continue to learn designing. And not to say that you have to do obituaries, but for anything that you do, continue to learn to design and practice. I left it over there, but I'll say, I always tell you guys, never work on designs or practice your designs when you're working on an order. But one of the things that you can do to practice designing and stuff like that, one of these days I'll show you guys, because I keep all of his stuff. I have a kid that's in school. He has projects. So I use Silhouette Studio to make, man, I probably should go get it. Hold on. I'm gonna go get that one. Hold on. Actually, is it here? No, it's not. Okay. My baby's missing plenty of arms on this. He's missing arms, but he had one. I forgot. Was it what you wanted to be when you grow up or something? So we took just a picture of him. This isn't a headband. Like, this was a piece of paper that I ended up wrapping because it was like just a picture we found. And I think they took the picture in class. I think that's what it was. They took a picture of them and gave it to us. And they had to design, I think, what they want to be when they grow up. And so, because it's basketball, I took a piece of paper, curved it. So that's the knowing that I can't just go straight across. If it's for your head, it's a headband. It's supposed to have a curve. So as a newbie, if I was like a newbie and just doing this, I probably would have gone straight across. But if you can see, there is a slight curve to his head, even in like on the sides. That comes from understanding design, understanding shapes, understanding how you're supposed to position things so that it doesn't, you know, how some of you guys feel like, man, I don't want this to just look like it's just thrown on top. Or when you're layering things, you're trying to add all these different splashes to the back because you don't understand design concepts and composition and layout for what you have, how to arrange it where it looks good and it's following certain lines. I teach in Foundations of Designing about making it the correct size. And it's little thing. I'm telling you, it's little things like this where it looks like it was an actual headband on his head and it wasn't just thrown on top. But it's knowing that in order to get that look, you have to actually curve it, right? So I made this, I literally designed this entire jersey. So this wasn't like an actual Heat jersey. I mimicked one. I took one where it was a picture of it, being able to take a program like Silhouette Studio, something where you can mess around with edit points, or you like Photoshop, it was like pen tools. So if I wanted to create basically a vector file of a basketball uniform, well, you can't do vector in Photoshop. If I wanted to just kind of create the outline and have it there, I'm going to use my pen tool. I learned to design that way. When I first learned to design, when you want to remove the background, you want it to trace something, you used the pen tool to get a very accurate trace of it. That is another way of tracing something, by using your pen tool. So I used my edit points and I made the jersey using offsets, cropping, subtracting, to where if you go look at a Heat uniform, let me see if I can pull up the one that looks like this. It'll look like this. The shorts following exactly how the shorts look. And then this, of course, I use the print and cut. This part up here is a print and cut. Then on the back, so it looked like a full-on uniform. But the joy of doing it this way is if you mess up, it's a kid's project. It's helping you to, like, I mean, you're helping your kid. It's helping you with your design skills. So I was always helping MJ and like making certain things. So of course I would design it, but you can tell by the glue. Gave him a glue stick, gave him some glue. He glued everything on it and stuff like that. So it was more like he was doing it versus me. But with doing it this way, there's no one paying money for this. They're going to get a grade for it. But if you go and you are practicing designing and it's something that someone's paid money for, and let's say they don't like it or they say they want a refund because they don't like how something came out, because this is your first time doing it. They don't know it's your first time doing it, but they have an expectation that you are presenting yourself as a business. And if you are selling this to me, you're telling me that you know what you're doing. So I should not have all of these unnecessary mistakes. But kids' projects are the perfect place and time to actually practice these things. That's what it was. They gave them the body cutout, because I was like, I would have never made no arms like this. They sent home just this brown piece with their face on it, and the body and stuff. Because when I held it up to the light, I can see the brown through it. So there were legs hanging out. I put this as if it was like a whole outfit on the little construction paper piece that they sent home. But this is a great way to practice your design skills. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, they got projects coming up, help them with it, because it's no like financial obligation. You're able to be free with it and just kind of experiment with some things. If it's not so perfect, that's even better. They think the kids did it. But this was where a lot of my customized practice came in at, and the fact that I was making all these things for my kid. So he has a whole basketball uniform. I mean, y'all, look at how deep. Do you see the fact that I even did like this little piece right here? I'm trying to find a white Heat uniform. Miami Heat uniform. Images. See this, that's the red one that's like this. I'm trying to see. Oh, there it is right there. Hold on. Let's share screen. And I gotta turn y'all around. So there were jerseys. If you see like this one, it's a scoop neck, right? Then like when D Wade and all of them were here, I don't know if, I think all of them might be the scoop neck now. But when, let me see, yeah, that's like a little regular scoop neck. But when D Wade and when I made this, it was this style jersey. So you have, oh wait, y'all can't see it on TikTok. So it was this style jersey. So y'all see that? The red, the stripe down the side, like the gold stripe in the middle. There was black to it. Oh, there's the, actually, let me see. Can I zoom in on this? There is actually a black line. See, there we go. Look. So there was the black line, the red, and then the gold stripe. And, see where the number is. And it was this little thing across like the bottom. And that's kind of how I designed these. Looking at that, it was more like straight on, but I knew that I couldn't necessarily do it on the side, but I wanted to give it that same look. I'm trying to see if they have the shorts to that one. So they show the shorts to that one. Where are the shorts for that particular uniform? Ooh, even better. There we go. There's that uniform. You can see the shorts. You can see the red on the bottom, the black outline where the Heat logo is, like the whole shebang. And that's how this was created. Let's see. Can we do a side by side? So there and then here. And then for you guys. So what y'all think? It looks like that uniform, doesn't it? My baby was a whole Heat player. I think it looks pretty close to the actual uniform. Someone says, yes, it does. Thank you. But I had this, and then of course, when I end up pulling the other one out, I've done, what are these things? Birth announcements. Birth announcements can be done like, demand, because I was in the event space, I used to do a lot of these different things. Gosh. I don't know if this has someone's real information on it, so let me make sure it does. So invitations, but it was like matted. When matting means you put a background behind it to make it thicker. Oh, look, this game shower booklet is from, I don't know what year this is, because it just says September 15th. Not sure what year this one was from. I'm trying to see. So are you sure? I gotta remember what these games were. I gotta figure out my master one to figure out what some of these games were. But you can see that was longer there because it wasn't as many games in this one. It was how well do you know my parents? What food did Christina dislike during her pregnancy? What is Christina's biggest pregnancy food craving? What day is baby due? So yeah. Like these are just, again, just games and stuff. And this is a really small one. And we have the phone board week in the summer school. Do you see how clean? Like this is small. I think it's a little bit easier to do the big cutouts, but when you have to do small ones and getting intricate cuts on it, so you can see, look at how clean that cut is. And this is small. This is smaller than my hand. So this is like the type of stuff. Of course, I'm going to teach it bigger because this does take some practice, but I wasn't always like this. I mean, this one's kind of still a little bit rough, probably because I used a dull blade, but I've seen some people do like the what's names and they cut and it's really, really rough, but this is nice and clean lines. But it takes practice to get here. As long as you continue to practice, I promise y'all, don't worry about the time frame. Don't try and worry about doing like I did. I have a whole bag full of stuff here. And I'm like, I didn't learn to do all of this stuff in 3 months, 6 months, even a year. Like from 2008 until my grandmother's on was what, last year, 2022. That's a big, like that's a lot of time and practice to go from one obituary and just even in how you arrange things and like the composition of them. You just got to keep practicing. Learn whether if you are able to just kind of follow videos or just look at different design things and pull inspiration from them, understand and pick up about the design concepts. Great, do that. If not, don't don't count out like actually paying for a class and investing in yourself, especially if it's someone that can really teach you about designing and composition and about business, about pricing for all of these things. You know, there's a difference between something that you would do for your own kid and the amount of time that it takes to string something like this together and make all of these intricate cuts for, like, this was before silhouettes for me. Okay. I didn't have a silhouette when MJ this was for his second birthday. I didn't have a cameo. This was actually, no, let me see. I'm trying to think. Was this, maybe I did. Because was my niece here by then? I don't remember, because this Elmo Speedway, so I made him his own logo. I don't think that was done in Silhouette Studio. That was, can't remember what program that was. I don't think it was. But these are all cut by hand. The splits for the ribbon, cut by hand. This was one of those things to where at the party, everyone loved it. Would I ever sell it to someone? Most likely not, because back then, before I understood business and I understood the difference between something for a business and just doing it as a craft or hobby or DIY. DIY is definitely different as a business because you're not doing it yourself. It's no longer DIY where you're doing it to save money. You're doing that for someone else. It's when, as a business owner, who else is going to do it? So DIY goes out of the window. But I find that majority of crafters, they still think of this as DIY, which is why when people even ask, how was that made? What paper are you using? The lines are blurred between, I'm no longer a hobbyist. This isn't us kind of, hey, no one's really making money from it. You're trying to save money. What did you? I know that you're trying to do this as a business and you want me to give you what I cut and did all this for, for nothing. Like, we're not hobbyists. We're not in a crafting group. This is DIY. Now, as a business owner, I understand that this is something that because it's paper, customers are not going to find a lot of value in me saying, okay, I have to cut this out by hand. I had to split. I had to make the cuts by hand. I had to feed. I did not have a technique. I now have a new technique to feed these. But when you're trying to get a piece of ribbon that is stubborn and fraying, and every time you pull it through one of these little splits, it frays even more, I am traumatized just thinking about this. But I, for the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to do this as a crafter, I'm like, look, I want to charge you $1 million for this because I had to hand cut this. I had to do this. But in business, and if you're doing it for business, you have to start to think of ways to make things easier for yourself, even if it means outsourcing. Crafter mindset and a creative business owner mindset, they are different. You cannot take that DIY and just because you are doing it yourself and you are not running a business or it's not for business, you can't think about that when it comes to pricing it. Okay. Because in business and you're starting your own business, who else is going to do it? So it's always everything that you do as a creative business owner is DIY, but you're not doing it for yourself. You are actually doing it for a customer. So you have to know what is marketable and what someone's going to find value in, because to them, it's just paper. They don't see how you had to design this, and every other one has different colors. So when you're trying to figure out putting them together, well, I didn't want to, let me see, like next, well, all of mine had checkerboards next to it. So the checkerboards had solid colors, the solid colors had checkerboards, but these are things that you have to think about when it comes to designing as you're laying it out. When it comes to the color scheme, you're trying to make sure that I didn't have this letter and the next letter both had green and blue. So like this one had yellow and green. Like, what color is the middle one? Your customers don't understand that you have to go through all of that thought process to put this together for them. They just see it as, okay, it's just paper. You just print it out. Why do I have to pay you all that money? Like, why are you charging so much? Because they don't understand there are going to be certain things that it's great for you to make for yourself. And you can use it to show the range of your creativity. But just because you make it for yourself does not mean that it is marketable to sell to others unless you are going to find out how to actually have it produced efficiently, where you don't have to spend hours hand cutting and hand threading. Make sense? So I did these, but here's the other thing. I always tell you guys about creating effective templates and things that can be used in other ways. So this part that's on here, once I created this template, so some people see it as a template where you're going to have this, it already has the letter in it. Well, if I give it to you with the letter in it, you are now limited. You can't do other stuff. So for the labels for this was, we had different flavors of Kool-Aid syrup, and people were able to make their own drinks. It was amazing. Oh my God. Like everyone loved that at his birthday, because you mix your own syrups and stuff like that. So on each of the bottles, there was a label for what size, like what flavor it was. So it's me taking one of these, shrinking it down, and I'm able to put something else in there. This is what a template should be, where you are able to customize it. When you have one that's just kind of like static, like you really can't do anything else like with it. That's just a design file to me. To me, that's not a template. So me taking the time to create the checkerboard, I now made little smaller checkerboard flags. I think these were cupcake picks is what I use this for. Here is a big version. I designed this logo for him. Like that's one of the things I used to do was, so those who want to practice making logos, create a custom logo, whatever your theme is for your kids' party or whatever their school project. MJ had a whole cereal box, and it was with Bosch. Hello, Miami Heat. He loves Heat. Bosch's favorite player. And I created a logo for Bosch. Is it Bosch Crunch? Something like that. But that's how that's why I'm so good at logos now, because I was doing this. MJ's 12. This is 10 years old. This logo that I created for Elmo Speedway, can't go online and find this. This is what people pay me for, though, is that I'm going to come up with concepts like this. If I'm going to go and I'm going to do some infringement, I'm going to do some infringement. Like, look, I understand I took his face, but Sesame Street don't have nothing that says Elmo Speedway. So this was really, really customized. Don't come for me, people. Okay. But yeah, I created this logo for him 10 years ago, because MJ is now 12. Gosh, man, this is so much. Man, there's so much stuff in this bag. Like, I don't know. It was a whole rabbit hole going down. Oh, this one was so, I did this one. This was from Easter. So for our Easter, and just wanting, to create some things, finding was not for an order. I did a lot of stuff where it was not for an order. It was a long time before I started actually charging. I would DIY. I perfected doing DIY. So one Easter, I wanted to make and practice on water bottle labels. So I had a whole Easter, and this was word art before I knew about the word art app. I hand placed, but I can appreciate easier ways now. But every single word, if it's how it's sized, where it's placed at, is going up and down. I hand placed digitally every single word on this sucker. Like, I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on. And that's not easy, because it's like trying to figure out a balance of colors. Which, do I have too many colors, like too much of the same colors together? Y'all see how many fonts? I don't know what I was thinking. Lord. Oh my God, what was I thinking? There's like so many freaking fonts on this. Wait, there's no repeated? Oh no, there are. Okay, because tulips and daffodils, and making those different ones, jelly beans and jelly beans, bunny. So it's like, even with that, like trying to make sure that, like, I think I put every word was on here twice, but I had to make sure that I never use the same font. And then even the placement of like those fonts and where I put them at, like, that's a lot. But these are things that I did to help with my design skills. This is what I did to help me understand composition and layout. Let's see. What other goodies do we have over here? Yeah. Gotta put all this stuff back in the bag or it's going to end up all over my floor. Oh, these are cheers. Nice to coach for the Vikings. If Ebony, if you're on, still got bulldog cuts. Bows. I used to make my own bows for MJ's Christmas gifts and birthday gifts out of paper. That helped me with, that's how I learned what paper was best because I was using it just for my own personal products. This was designed in, I think I did design it. I designed it in Silhouette Studio, but I had it printed somewhere else. So I designed like raffle tickets in Silhouette Studio, and then I sent them off to be printed as raffle tickets. But there is no limit to what you can design in Silhouette Studio. I was designing raffle tickets. So when I say, like, some people don't like when I say, like, I know this program. I can honestly say I've used Silhouette Studio for things that the average person would not think to design in it. And this was back in, there's no date on this. Oh, 2014. Homecoming raffle 2014. Damn, it's been 9 years. Oh, wow. Oh, damn. I didn't realize it's been that long, y'all. Oh, wow. Dang it. My commissioner was just here. Wow. Wow. That's so freaking dope. That's so freaking dope. Man. But yeah, all of this. And then these, all of these right here, I use them for this. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen my niece's Candyland theme. And I had the big foam board buildings, and I had so I had the big foam board building. No, hers, I did the big foam board buildings, but I did a superhero, and it's the same thing. So it's not being afraid to reuse the items that you have over and over and over again, but in different ways. This is something I've taught from day one about not reinventing the wheel, just kind of move it around a little bit. But raffle tickets, I've designed them in Silhouette Studio. This was a candy apple topper, like to put on there. This matched the other Easter stuff. I wish I had one of my first chip bags, but this was the one that I just did this one 2 years ago. Yeah. So chip bags, and I think that's it, because the rest of this stuff is like color charts. I pulled this out because I talk about like color charts, and even when it comes to settings, yes, I can tell you what settings I may have used for something, but there's a reason why I can tell you that. When it came to Jet Pro 3G, I knew what setting to use because I went through and I took the time, and I still, even if I tell you to use Premium Mat, and sometimes we go in groups and we'll do that, like we'll ask, well, what setting should I use? The reason why I recommend it and I stand 10 toes down on whatever it is that I end up recommending is because if you can tell me anybody that you watch that teaches about this business that can show you that they took the time to print out every single like major print setting to test to see how those blacks come out, what the colors look like. Like this is what I do. Just this is fun for me. This right here is fun for me. When people ask me about my print settings for, but this isn't the sublimation one, but this is like my regular one. This wasn't easy. This setup, now this was me testing every single print option that Epson has, from no color adjustment, Adobe RGB, Epson Vivid, ICM, automatic, and plain paper setting, premium matte, high quality plain paper. This was premium matte standard, premium matte high. So when people go and say, oh no, you have to use premium matte high, it comes out better. Well, my test says these two lines look exactly the same. Stop wasting ink because there's no difference between, and then I get the, oh, now it looks better. I know this because anybody else that's going to give you a suggestion and tell you to use that setting, I guarantee they don't have a reference like this. So, yeah. When it comes to, oh, here's a sublimation one. So not only did I do this, because I have a sublimation one like this too. I have no idea where it's at, but I have a sublimation one like this. But this is cartoon characters and stuff like that. When it comes to regular print, like, well, faces and where we get that yellowing and stuff from, well, guess what I did? Not only do I have one that's like this, I also did this. And you can see the differences in the colors of their clothes, their skin tones. So when I go and I say, I recommend this setting, how do you know that's the best setting? Because I tested every last one of the settings. When it came to with sublimation, is there a major difference between plain paper, premium matte? My face looks super red down here versus up there. So premium matte added too much magenta compared to plain paper. This is why I have the video and I have the settings that I recommend, despite that little blue box that goes around all the groups. That all that is them regurgitating something they saw in another group. I guarantee they've never done this to where people told me I was crazy. You can't use plain paper. It doesn't work. It's not vibrant. Well, this is the testing that I do to know those things. When it comes to colors, I say color charts. And I truly mean that. Like, you have to have color charts. So I make color charts, and they're in, like, I've done them with different inks, different settings, so that I can see the colors. And I'm not surprised when I go to sublimate something and like, why does this look this way? When people want to know about sublimating on colors, these are the exact same color charts, but they look different. This is what happens when you sublimate on colors. When I'm teaching, if you invest in any of my classes, like the summer school, any of the workshops, I'm teaching them, and because I've done the work. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of classes that some people say it's just regurgitated. They took somebody else's class, they took notes on it, they have a gift for gab. Okay, now I'm going to teach it. I can honestly say, from our Honestly Speaking company and 365 Creative Academy, what you are learning is experience. You are learning from someone who's put in the work to do all of the testing, so that if you want to, you can, but I can show you a bunch of examples of what happens if you do this. If you do this, you do that. If you buy this product versus this product, because I've tested it all. So when you are seeing a class and it's a very good value of $336 for everything that you are going to learn, understand that what's the it's a TikTok sound, and it's like what you see is a product of something. Now I'm good in the mother effer. I'm great at what I teach. I have the experience to back it up. So if you've never experienced any of my classes, summer school might be where you want to kind of jump in there at. We have a workshop on Thursday. That is $1,563. We're going to go over 3 different softwares: Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, and Canva, for easy color changing edits of like a shirt. Even if you had to like change the color of like pants on some type of digital file, you'll still understand the concept of how to do that. And that's available on our website. And then the summer school. So yesterday I said that I wasn't going to do it a la carte. I spoke to some people, so I will go back to doing it. So if you feel like you are not able to take the full summer school, which the price does go up this weekend, guys, as of Saturday, after Saturday, the price goes up. So take advantage of that $336 if you are paying for it one time, and $363 if you are going to do buy now, pay later, because the price will change this weekend before the 27th. The first session is on the 27th for summer school, but I'm going to break it up to where you'll have access to each week. So maybe you probably don't need everything. Week 1 is the business and understanding business. And we're going to go through, like, know that there are some things that just aren't going to be marketable. Like, I'm going to speak to you from someone that's been in this business that was a great crafter. I think this shows I was a great crafter, like excellent. I could never, even for like a baby shower, if it was for an event, the amount of work that it takes to do this, to give this raised look. Now, maybe if I did this as a print and cut, like the whole thing, but you can feel like, because I wanted to feel like a jersey. And so y'all see them there, they're all hand placed. So I'm great as a crafter, but there are certain things like you have to understand business. And I'm the perfect person to help you understand making that transition from hobby to business. And that's what week 1 is. How to go from a hobby mindset to a business mindset, to know what you have to say no to for business, because it's going to be counterproductive, jumping on all of these different trends. If you want to learn it just so that you are, you're working those creative muscles and you're making it for yourself. All of the what's those things called? The vending machines that people made for Father's Day. Great if you made that for your husband, a father in your life, but to market that and how long it would take. I was in a group with someone, they said it took them 15 hours. And I think hers, and I kind of looked at it, she had her shelves lined and all that stuff, because probably she used like the Dollar Tree when you want to kind of make it look like something, you want to cover up those rough lines. But when you learn the proper, like what's good foam board to use, what's the proper way to cut it, you don't have to worry about now adding all these other things to cover up your imperfections. But it's about learning it the correct way. So how to go from hobby to business is what week 1 is. And it's all business talk. The things that you probably have never been introduced to, the fact that once you get that sales and use license, you're going to have to file your taxes quarterly or monthly with your state. Getting an understanding of the advantage, like what are the pros and cons of the different official structures. When people tell you, oh, you want to become legit, you have to get an LLC. Well, sole proprietor is a recognized business structure, but it's just going to be different in some companies want to kind of see that, or depending on how it is that you want to grow your company. But there are differences. Tax purposes, an LLC, sole proprietor, technically exact same thing. Nothing changes. It's passed through. It's going through yours, so that it doesn't make it any different. You can file self-employment. You're still going to pay your self-employment tax. Like, all of these things are the same, but some people don't teach that, and they make you feel like, okay, you have to be an LLC to be legit. There are benefits to having a structure set up, but you can have a website and you're just a sole proprietor. But those are the things that we're going to go over in Hobby to Business. Then week 2 is all of the foam board stuff, learning about designing for it. What kind of designs can you do, can't you do? Because when you have these intricate cuts and you want to cut it, which is why some people just design theirs where because it's such intricate cuts, they kind of just put an outline around it and you end up with the white border. Whereas, where's that thing at? The one I just showed you. Now, where did it go? Well, you'll just have to go back probably and watch the playback. But she was cut. Like, I didn't have a white border around her, but that's knowing what my limitations were for intricate areas and how to cut in those areas. So we have the foam board one. The first day of every week is designing. The second day is understanding the business side of it. How much material is going to cost on average. Even once you're going to take a lot longer when you are learning it, but once you master it, what is the true average time frame that something like this will take, so that you can accurately calculate your labor cost for this. And if you take on this type of job and it takes up your whole day, that's all the money that you get to make for that day. So is this something that you really want to market? Because what if you get an influx of orders of these? How are you really going to be able to fulfill them? So these are the things that we're going to cover in our business sessions, things that really make sense in business. And just because we're creative, we cannot do everything, because if it takes all day, guess what? However much money you charge for that order and it takes up your whole day, that's all the money you're going to make for the day. That's it. And then the last day is always the practical day, and like going through how to actually do the different projects. So for the foam board one, it's going to be learning how to make proper cuts, how to create seams and glue them together and stuff like that. So it's foam board 101. Then we have the custom ribbons. We're going to go through all the different ways that you can, market those. Then we have sublimation, the 4th week, emphasis on drinkware, and it says apparel. I'm going to mention like jigs and stuff that you need, but we're going to just do shirts in class so that you can see the differences in these different print settings, especially when using Honesty Speaking paper. And then week 5 is all about transfers. So you'll be able to understand how to design for them, the different price points. If someone's designing a shirt, so people always ask, okay, well, if I get 25 shirts, what is the cost? Well, if you were only doing vinyl shirts, now they want 25. We can't necessarily, it wouldn't be efficient and effective to do 25 intricate HTV cuts. So now we're going to go to some sort of transfer. And because you're using the transfer and now you don't have all this labor, to them, it seems like they're getting a discount, but you're just using a method that's going to be a more efficient method. So you can charge a little bit less. But once you kind of get into this and you already know what your price point is, if someone's getting a DTF or a screen print shirt, the cost is the cost. So if they want 50 shirts, you should already be calculating it, knowing that you're going to use DTF or you're going to use screen print transfers. There's no more discount after that. Like, those are the things that we're going to talk about on the business side and the benefits of transfers: DTF transfers, summation transfers, eco-solvent transfers, screen print transfers. So that's everything that's in the summer school. You can get all 5 weeks. And if you sign up for the summer school, what you also get as a free bonus is my Compliment Your Small Business program that I did like 2 years ago. We went through making your own scratch off cards, your own thank you cards, how to make your beginner logo. Don't let anyone tell you that the logo that you create is a logo that you have to stay with. I would recommend picking a really good name that you can actually trademark and you can brand around. But you can, especially because you're starting off anyway. Some people tell you, oh, people won't recognize you. No offense, y'all. They don't know y'all anyway. You're not a household name. So if you have to kind of create something yourself and maybe then pay a professional for a logo, in that day one, it's text-based. So not all this adding real heat presses to your logos, adding real strawberries, adding real butterflies. Like those are graphics. That's not an effective logo. You can't blow that up and shrink it down and it still be legible. So I teach about that in the Compliment Your Small Business, but you only get that for free if you sign up for the full summer school. Okay. The sound has gone out. Ooh, y'all can't hear me over here? I don't know, because I know I didn't put on Do Not Disturb. Not y'all. I know y'all can probably hear me, but over here they're saying they can't hear me. Or someone saying they can't hear me. I'll put it on Do Not Disturb so that I don't get notifications. I'm not sure if the notifications did that. Oh, it's back. Okay. No. So each week there will be different workshops. I was still trying to figure out like what's going to be the best ones. I've been kind of scouring the groups and seeing like what's like really like top asked questions, like frequently asked questions, which tracing is one of them. So we will have a tracing workshop the following week. But every workshop will end up being something different, and it's going to focus on one thing. And like if we trace something, we're going to trace that one item. If it's something for like cropping, like I'm just looking for different techniques and different things. The color changing is one that I see in groups all the time. I know I want to do one about removing backgrounds to where we're going to have the picture and you guys will practice constantly like removing backgrounds. So yeah, the workshops will always be different topics. Oh my God, your setup is so nice. Oh, organized. Who? I am not organized. Not at all. No, don't let that color chart fool you. Shakia is in no way, shape, or form. I am. Actually, I will say in business, I guess a little bit in my real life, my husband, I drive him crazy because I am not organized at all. At all. It's perfectly cut. Thank you. Yep, the uniform was really, really close. I think I saw when that popped up and you're saying, yes, it is. Let's see. I wish I've known about your academy before. I spent hundreds of dollars on others and didn't learn nothing compared to what and how you teach. Thank you for that. I'm going to try and purchase on Friday. I had to do 12 grad fans and it took me hours and days to finish. And I only charged $60 because I saw on Etsy they were selling 5 for $20. Lies. Those who took so some people asked what was the difference between the boot camp and was it crash course? So one was like me just kind of showing how to make them. But when I did the boot camp, we talked about pricing. So that's another one. Anytime I'm doing class like that, because I'm talking to those who aspire to do business, I try to add that business aspect in it to where I'm like, okay, look, y'all, this don't make sense. You cannot, I don't care what anyone else is charging. Now that you know what it takes and you have to think about your overhead, you have to think about your budget, you cannot sell these things for $2. You're not making any money, like at all at that price point. Like unless you were doing it where it is, or at least especially not my way. How I make mine. Now, if it was just a piece of paper and you were putting the stick on the back, maybe you can get away with selling that for $2. But how these fans were made, there's no way. I mean, I saw some people making them like shaker one, like that was layered ones. Seemed too much for me for graduation. The fact that somebody's going to throw that in the garbage. And then you have to understand that your customers think of them that way too. This is a one-time thing. I don't want to spend, they may not want to spend a lot of money if it's just a piece of paper with a stick on the back. What if you're not just starting out? This will still be good to join. Sounds like a great thing. Thank you for reaching or for responding. Okay. What if you're not a beginner? Will the summer school still be a great course to join? So it all depends, right? You have to ask yourself, are these skills that you want to learn? You have to ask yourself, are you confident in how you price based off of whatever it is that you make? When it comes to apparel and making shirts, are you currently only using one method? Are you interested in learning other ways of making shirts, especially when it's bulk orders, how to order them, how to, and because this is a combination of not just the business side, it's designing also. And each one of these weeks, all 4 of those weeks, requires something different. And you have to take a different approach when it comes to designing. So you're going to get an idea of graphic designing. So you have to ask yourself, could I use some help in the graphic designing area? Could I use some help when it comes to understanding pricing? When it comes to a website, is it going to be beneficial for you? Is there anything in here that can help me bridge the gap, can help me be better? If you feel like anything that I've talked about can help you, then definitely join. If you know everything, don't go and say my course ain't teach you nothing. But I'm telling you, it is what it is. But I don't think there's anyone that has ever taken any one of my courses that can say they did not learn something new. Not one person. I made it like you, laminated cardstock, back cover, had the head, and the head was intricately cut due to the curly hair. Girl, I probably should have done an offset. Yes, I would have told you to do an offset, or in the training, I taught them, like, that was one of the things that we went over specifically is when you have things like this, what do you want to do so that you don't have to worry about cutting stuff like that? So yeah, the grad fan boot camp would have been awesome for you to kind of take when that came out. You can still take it and it'll help you know things for next year. But yes, either an offset or you want to think about how you do that hair and stuff like that. So we definitely went over that in the design portion of it. Are barcodes and scanner codes beneficial even if you don't have a website set up? Yes. So it's on the back of this, but the one that we have, we don't have the official site for HS Ink 365 prints. So what this barcode goes to is my Linktree, and it basically tells them how to contact us. It has all of my social medias on it and things like that. So you can have that a barcode or the QR code can point to anywhere. Like your Linktree, you can have ones that once you go on to if you use Google Chrome and you go to your Facebook, if you wanted it to point to a specific folder. So let's say you're at an event that is all about or you're doing something and you're promoting or you're marketing your party favors, right? You have a folder on your social media that has all of the party favors that you've done. Well, you're going to go into Google Chrome. You're going to create a QR code that's going to take them straight to that. Don't worry about whatever else is on my social media. If you want to go back afterwards, all right, cool. But I'm going to send you right to my party favors folder, and you're going to see all of the different favors that I made. So you can have those codes point to anywhere. Thank you. Appreciate you for being honest. Hey, honestly speaking, that's what we do. With me, I don't know everything. I need it for sure and excited. So when you show up, I would, it's going to be great because now that you told me that, and I know that you're going to sign up for it, I am going to most likely end up emailing you or even asking, was it worth it? Did you learn something new? So I will be looking out for your name in the session. And once we get to the end of it, to see if I exceeded your expectations. All right. So yeah, I just want I'm on way too long. It's 8:16. It's starting to rain, but if you just kind of jumped on, one of the things I came on was, and like with the title of it, it gets better with time and practice. I end up just kind of showing a lot of the things that I created. But when I was over there looking, I came over here looking for this. And even with this, I was just telling my student, I'm like, girl, convert to Path. So when I did this setup, I forgot to convert it to Path. And so when it was saved to send to Kinko's to print out, of course, they don't have my font. So this looks weird. I'm pretty sure those who know me as a designer, y'all know that anything that's like a design, we don't use this type of typeface. Like, so to know me is to look at this and be like, wait, why Shakia got that plain looking font at the bottom? Oh my gosh. That is actually, you know what? My niece was born. This has shadows on it. This may not have even been Silhouette. I got to go look to see if this was in Silhouette Studio. Actually, I know it was, because this I definitely created in Silhouette Studio. That much I do know. I think I probably pulled these from somewhere else. So I put it there and then I brought it over. Yeah. But this is what happens when you don't convert to Path and who you send it to doesn't have the font. It looks like this because it was supposed to be like that. And so it ended up looking like just Arial. So, yeah. All right. But I came on. This was in 2008, one of the first service programs that I ever made. This was on regular old cardstock. This was printed with my inkjet printer. So when people say they don't like inkjets, it's all about paper and choosing the right paper, because this doesn't look dull. Like, it was so nice, but this was choosing quality paper, even with the inkjet printer. This is inkjet. This is printed with I don't remember which printer that was. That 2008 may have been either my Canon or my brother. I don't remember which printer that. Actually, no, 2008, I was still living at my mom's house. That had to be my Canon, which means if that gets wet, it's gone, it's a goner. Whereas with this one, if it gets wet, it's pigment ink, it doesn't run. But this was an inkjet printer. So long as you're using good paper, you can print them now. It's a pain in the butt to print them at home from an inkjet because it prints slow compared to a laser. But certain things just look better to me in inkjet versus laser. So from 2008, 2021, 2022. And I don't have the one from 2023. So you can see the progression. All you guys got to do is continue to learn. Give yourself time. Just because you may see someone put up obituaries like this and yours may still be like this, it's okay. You just charge accordingly for this type of design versus this. That's the only difference in this. How much it costs to print something like this. And with this type of design setup, I can't charge top dollar for this type of design setup. But this one, where we went from, one picture, and then on the inside, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 pictures total on this style compared to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just in the front and the back, there's 9. 10, 11, 12. And those are layered. And it's like, you would think that my grandmother had, like, looking at this, you would swear my grandmother had a twin and they were sitting. No, that's the same lady. Well, I said 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45 pictures here. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. And a whole bunch more. This is probably like 150 some odd pictures. Whew, this is a lot. So we can't charge the same amount. So people say about obituaries, we can't charge the same amount for this, but it's okay to still design like this. If this is your starting point and you're doing this to help out families so that they don't, they don't have to pay, because funeral homes will charge a good $300 for this style, like just like this. Or even if you're doing the trifold, like you can still put pictures and arrange it and do tributes and stuff like that, but it's a different price point. But you have to practice. You're not going to go from this to this overnight. You have to just practice and practice and practice and stay learning about different design concepts. Be strategic about what classes you take and what's really going to benefit you. You can throw a rock and hit 1,000,001 YouTube videos of someone wrapping a chip bag or a Capri Sun. Hell, even cutting whatever foam board they chose. But now, if you're trying to make a business out of it, is there a difference? And what is the difference? How is it going to be different using Dollar Tree foam board versus a quality one? And how do you price that? All these videos are there. Just because you're in a live class, they may not be answering your questions. Like you ask a question and they are answering your question specifically. So is that class going to actually benefit you? Is it going to be any different than any YouTube video? I can honestly tell you that every last one of my classes is way different than any YouTube video you'll ever watch. Well, my YouTubes are detailed too. So any YouTubes outside of my own. But yeah, that's the difference, guys. And then that help once you're working on this. So before you get to this, it might be that you're learning how to just focus on this. If you desire to do obituaries, maybe have to do some for your family. But as far as like really lining them up, you may need to spend a year doing chip bag layouts and really understanding where to position stuff, how to size it. You may need to practice on font. So my students know I'm big on fonts, very, very big on fonts and arrangement of them. And I know some of you guys are just joining. You got to watch the beginning. I don't know even know where my little bag went, but it's over here. So if you're just coming on, this right here is one of the things that helped me with fonts, knowing what fonts to pair, colors, sizing, like doing things like this is going to be crucial to your design journey. Okay. But the summer school is there. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be well worth the investment. You will see a return on your investment because you're going to learn how to be more efficient in your business. You're not going to be wasteful. You're going to see higher profits because you're going to understand how to make more profits. Doing the same exact things you were doing before. Now you'll learn how to do it better, more efficiently, so that you can profit more and actually see a return on your investment. All right. So the links are in the description of the video. Don't wait too long. The price goes up after Friday night. Come Saturday. Don't come to my site. Ooh, look, there was the other one. Looking for that price point. I think someone sent us a message today. Hey, what happened to your $35 design class? Excuse me. We had $35. You probably saw that when I first dropped it, and it was probably like a discounted, because it's like I always discount the classes when they first drop. Now it's back at regular price. Don't be that person to where you're on our site looking for it at $300 and it's now up to $600, $700, $800, $900. Don't be that person. Okay. All right. So I got to go because, let me see. I just did my first obituary. I did pretty good, but can learn so much more. That I've gotten that request a bunch of times about obituaries. Now, those who, if you take my Photoshop training, the 8-week one. My grandmother passed in the middle of that, and I showed them, like, I broke down like how my grandmother's obituary was like set up. But I did a one-on-one session with someone about obituaries, because when it comes to how you print them, that's like the differences in the type of paper, just like the sheer cost of it, having a price breakdown for pictures, like, it, that's why most people have, like, they saw you can send 25 to 30 pictures, because it's a lot trying to arrange it and figure it out when there's so many pictures. But this one was, of course, that was my grandmother, and that was kind of that was our whole life in that book. But if somebody wanted that, like what you would charge to design something like that, you have to really account for it, because that literally takes up a day or 2 days to design that. And if you're sitting there just designing that one thing for 2 days, that means your salary, especially if you don't have other things that are just going to just bring you money that you don't have to physically do. If you don't have that type of setup, and that is your moneymaker, and whatever it is that you create as a graphic designer and designing these things, you have to charge for that. So if before you pay a 200 picture obituary takes you 2 days to do, whatever you desire to make, that is at a minimum what that design fee. So if you, like, some people go and say, well, I would never charge $300 for designing of an obituary. That's a lot of work. So I can't go and spend 3 days on your obituary and you want to pay me $75. That's not going to happen, Captain. But it's understanding those. And if no one has ever taught you about that, taking a class like mine, to where we have a business day, how you approach pricing for all 4 of those weeks, you're going to see that it's going to be different in how you have to approach your price points for each one of those. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the creative business summer school, and or if not that, the workshops. All right. Any questions for me? Because it is pouring down raining. I gotta go. It is Taco Tuesday, and I gotta go home to get my tacos. I've done obituaries a few times, but people think because I do other things, I'm supposed to charge the low. No, you don't. Definitely don't do that. Now, if there are other things that you are doing with it and you can utilize those same things. So, like, let's say if you design the obituary and whatever picture you use for the front, whatever fonts that you use, and now you want to upsell them, you don't have to redesign it. You just have to know your template and then resize it. So now this is where you can, get funny with the numbers and kind of make it seem like you're helping them out. But hey, the design is already done. So I'm not really charging you another design fee, but that's only if they're going to then order a significant number of products for you. You design, you put all this work into it. So with my, I did, let's say, like, from that one design, it was the obituaries, it was the rags, I did memorial cards, we did shirts, I did a tumbler. Like, so those were other things that I already had the colors, I had the fonts, I had everything. I just had to rearrange them. So you're able to technically make more money off of the same exact design. So I watch every video you've ever seen. So I charge my worth. You are so appreciated. I got to go in the group and see who that was. Who said that? Let's see. I got to know who said that. Oh, wow. Why is it doing that? Hmm. Oh, that's so weird. Facebook changed. I made a post, and so now it doesn't go to my video. Oh, that kind of sucks. Oh, wow. Okay. So glad someone commented on that. I now have to fix that. See, I'm always learning on the fly. What was I doing though? Now that threw me all the way off. Oh, I was trying to see who was it that commented that. Oh, see, my notifications aren't even showing me comments. Oh, that's not fun. So I don't even know who said that. I really want to see the name because when you post from a group, it doesn't show me the name. Ah, okay. Now I can see it. I see it. I see it, Katrina. Okay, cool beans. Oh, someone told me who said it. Okay, cool beans. All right. Should one take the silhouette design class before the summer school? So they are okay. The Silhouette Studio, Essentials to Silhouette Studio, Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days is something that I don't care what design class you take, you should always have that one. It basically is your ultimate reference guide. So when you watch it the first time, you're going to learn the different tools and stuff like that. So I just had one of my students. I'll read you the out. So I want to read it out verbatim how she wrote it about going back, going back in. So let's see, where's the post? So she says, well, I took the 30-day silhouette course when the professor did it live. So it's been a while ago now. Went back to find the shadow effect to review. Decided to watch day 22, image effects. It's hard to remember everything you learned. I had forgotten all about colorization. Oh my, down another rabbit hole, experimenting with that. Here's the horse image I added words to yesterday. Today I did the customization to it. So I'm gonna move this over here so you can see this. So because it's the ultimate reference guide, like if you get stuck, it's there for you to go back and review. The 30-day training teaches you every single tool and function, like what their intended use is. And then the design classes teaches you how to pull all of those different things together. When I'm in design classes, I don't go and teach the foundation or teach the, okay, this is subtract. Subtract does ... Well, when you have it here, it does this. If you do this, it does that. No, when I'm teaching design, I'm going to tell you, move this to the back. You're going to put this on the top. You're going to select both. You're going to subtract. I'm not explaining what subtract does. I'm just showing you how to make this design work. And now when you go to design something else, if your setup wasn't like mine and you keep getting like things are disappearing, it's doing this, it's doing that, you're not going to know because that design class that you took, I'm only showing you how to create this design and the steps that you need to create this design. Essentials to Silhouette Studio will teach you this is why this came out this way, if that makes sense. So if you try and do the 30 days before you do the summer school, you're going to be, I mean, it'll still kind of like get you introduced to Silhouette Studio, and then you can always do the 30-day to reinforce that. But I'm going to flip this around. So I'm going to go to the first one that she created. So she did this, right? This is the first one that she did. I'm going to kind of move it up some. You cannot see the words to it. Taking any of my classes, you get access to my student union. And when you post things like this, you need a little bit of a guide, like a little bit of guidance. And I love the fact that she said, I love that you're here to answer questions, like you're here to help and support us. So I told her it's hard to see. I told her exactly what to do. So I really like the concept. However, the words are not visible. Try putting a nice size offset around all the words. fill it in with a sample color from the design, and drop the transparency of the offset. If you know nothing about Silhouette Studio and about designing, if I wrote that to you, you're going to be like, wait, huh? What? I don't know what you mean. Like, cause I've done that before in groups. Like, I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm going to tell you what to do. Now, I'm not giving you a whole visual presentation of it, but I can write it out and tell you exactly what to do. Because she's taken my classes, because she constantly practices, she knew exactly what I meant, to where she had this version. And so now you can read the words, just that one little thing. Didn't have to change anything, just adding the offset, dropping the transparency. In my Foundations of Designing class, I teach why that's important, why you do that, to be able to see certain things behind it. So she did that one, and then she also did it in another color. But to me, those colors, it doesn't pop out as more. So something as simple as selecting one of the blues in the design made it to where this stood out. And then, so once she did that, it was, hey, I forgot, you can change the color. So from one file, if you wanted different tones. Now, these two I love. These, not so much. I mean, this one's not so bad. This one I don't really care for. The horse looks weird. But just knowing that you have the ability to do that, and even if you don't like it, it's practicing changing those colors, because you may need to remember that skill for something that you actually do need. So that's one thing I love about my students. They actually take the time to go in and practice what they have learned. The class is going to be there. If you don't take notes, because like she said, it's a lot to remember. If you don't take notes, if you don't practice, you're going to keep forgetting about it. You have to practice. I'm going to, since I'm here, not sure if you guys know, but I have a couple of, this is made up of 3 different templates put together. I was like, yes, God, like she did that, because I didn't even think to put a picture to the side. I always put it in the middle. But these are the things that I teach in design classes. I teach you to find your own design voice. So where even if you have a template, she took this template and made it her own. I was so proud. I was like a proud mom, like, oh my gosh. And even when it came to the stoles and stuff like that. But that's the power of our classes. When it came to the balloons, she just wanted to try it out and to give it dimension. And then I ended up showing her how you really make it look like a bubble effect. So in my classes, when you take any of my class, you get access to the student union. I'm there to help you. So just because it's no longer live, when you have a question, I'm able to help you and give you, even if it's just to give you a quick visual of this is what you're trying to accomplish. I don't have to explain anything. I showed that visual. Now she'll be able to, oh, now I remember that. And she'll be able to kind of create her own without me having to do a whole full tutorial. But that's in the power of how I teach. I'm not getting notifications when you go live. How can I maintain my notifications? I'm not sure, because some people, I think now that I'm live, I think you have to click on something or click on my name and the little bell, select all, I think it is, or something like that is what you can see me click on. If I click on your name, okay, you don't have enough for me to even do it. But I think it's something where when I'm live, you click on it, there's a little bell that's going to come up and you just put all, and you should be notified whenever I go live. All right, y'all, for real, it's raining though. I'm going to make a run for it. I am out of here. Hopefully I will see some of you guys in the summer school or the workshops. The first workshop is on Thursday. It is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Day 1 and day 2 of each week is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The day 4 hands-on, as far as like the actual, the producing of the item, is at 6:30. So all the Friday days are at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll get a full list of what you need. The first week is business. So I will have the full list of things if you want to follow along. But the other thing too is if you if you have like, excuse me, I'm always a little hesitant sometimes in giving a full list, because what if you don't want to do this? That may, like the foam board one, there are a couple of things I'm going to tell you. Get foam board, get an X-Acto knife. Like that one's going to be easy. When it comes, there are going to be a lot of supplies. Do you have to get all of those? No, because you may not be doing big cutouts where you need these humongous rulers. So I'm going to give you the bare bones minimum of what you need, what you can get for that. And then like for the ribbons, I'll give you the bare bones minimum, but in the class, you're going to learn some of my trade secrets to doing some of these things. So that will be things where I won't have that as a supply list, because you technically don't need it to be able to do this. But if you're going to be doing a lot of them, like me doing a lot of ribbons, there's a certain way that I heat seal these. So, and then sublimation is just sublimation. You know, you can have your mug or your tumbler, and then the transfer one, we will have a box that you can purchase that's going to have different prints so that you can press them, see what it's like. If you've never pressed DTF before, you'll be able to get that box, be able to press it and see what it's like, you know, with lifting it up to know if you have enough heat, enough pressure, all that kind of good jazz. So be on the lookout for that. Those will come out like within a week or two of whenever the class is. All right. So until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Don't forget to check out Honestly Speaking's sublimation paper. I'm trying to take this off so that you can see from that color chart. I don't use premium matte. I use plain paper setting. And look at the blacks and the colors on this, on my jacket. The black is definitely giving black. That is the power of our ink, because it is not brown in the bottle. And this is plain paper setting. No banding lines on it or anything like that. It's the paper. It's setting it up properly, and you can get results just like this with our sublimation paper. Oh, the shirt that I'm wearing is cute. Well, this amazing like company, they hand tie-dye this for me. At some point here, I'm going to add some vinyl to it, although I really like rocking this by itself. But you may know her. Actually, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a service. I don't know if I should say the name, but they did an amazing job. Like the tie-dye on this in those Honestly Speaking colors, absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's amazing. You might know her. But until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Be incredible. Hope to see you guys, if not on Thursday, next week, so that we can elevate your businesses and take them from a hobby to a full-fledged business all in 1 week or for the whole summer. All right, y'all. Peace.